Kevin Feige just stated that Secret Wars will serve as a reset for the MCU. In an article by Variety, Feige states that Secret Wars will serve as a reset for the MCU rather than a reboot. He states that reboot is a scary word. Reboot can mean a lot of things change to a lot of people. Reset means a singular timeline. We're thinking along those lines. Later he added, X-Men is where that will happen next. Feige also indicated that other Marvel characters will eventually be recast, including its most iconic roles like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. He pointed to many other major film franchises have done the same things multiple times over. For the X-Men, the reason he wants to go with a new cast, they have been a place to tell stories about young people who feel different and who feel other and who feel like they don't belong. He said, the universal story of mutants, and that's where we're going. He states Amy Pascal and David Heyman are now searching for a new James Bond, Feige referring to the upcoming Amazon Bond film. David Cornsweet, the new Superman, he was awesome. That will always be the case. Feige acknowledged the stars who retired their original MCU roles, like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, have made it difficult to imagine anyone else in their character's shoes, but that isn't an impossible task. There are still 2 legacy actors who may still appear in the MCU as well. When asked about his plans for a follow-up to Marvel's 2024 blockbuster Deadpool & Wolverine with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, Feige, in typical fashion, made no definitive statements but also did not close off any possibilities, stating, I think there is more fun to be had with both of those characters, he said, but we'll see where. If you want to read the article itself, it will be down in the description. Honestly, my thoughts on this is that I think this is exactly what the MCU needed. The MCU just cannot be one singular continuity the next 20, 30 years. We can't have a 70-year-old Robert Downey Jr. trying to play a 23-year-old Tony Stark. That just doesn't work. Same with Chris Evans. Eventually, these actors just all age out of their roles, and we're going to have to find a way to accept that these actors they have to move on, and it's time for us to move on to new actors so that way these characters' legacy can still live on. As for the X-Men all being younger, I completely agree with that. I think we need a fresh new X-Men cast. We don't need 40, 50-year-olds running around as the X-Men. Like, they had their time, they had their movies. Hopefully their stories get closed out properly with Secret Wars, and we can move on to a brand new and fresh MCU. As for Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, I think they're definitely still going to be in the MCU in the next 10 years. Deadpool and Wolverine are probably just going to be jumping around doing random side quests and not really associate with the main MCU and probably just hop around to different universes, different timelines. That's just my speculation, but I highly doubt they're going to get rid of either of those actors anytime soon. Especially with this being a decision that's been made over time with a lot of thought as Deadpool and Wolverine was being created and wasn't just like some last minute decision that they decided to make. This has been the build up for years. I was actually, before I saw this article, I was going to make a video on how I'm kind of worried for the MCU post-Secret Wars since the MCU has been so reliant on nostalgia and using past actors instead of building up fresh and new characters. So I'm glad that they have a statement on what they're planning to do and how they're planning to soft reboot or reset the universe. Because I do want to see Tony Stark and Captain America interact with the X-Men so that way we could actually have all these proper stories with all these characters together, because imagine another 20 years we get another Infinity War, but this time it's with the Fantastic Four and with the X-Men, and it completely changes how the previous Infinity War was, because now you have all these different characters that are allowed to share the screen together. I do feel bad for the actors that are going to replace the legacy characters and even some of the X-Men, because they are going to get so much hate online, and it does not matter who they cast, they're going to get an unbelievable amount of hate simply because they're not Robert Downey Jr. or they're not Chris Evans. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they do really good in the roles, whoever they decide to recast, but only time will tell. And I think why Feige's so selective on not using the word reboot, because a reboot would imply the entire universe is getting changed, where I don't think that's the case. I think all the characters they've been building up the last 5 years are probably still going to remain the same actors. Tom Holland will still be Spider-Man. Elizabeth Olsen will still be Wanda. We're still going to keep those castings. We're still going to have Shang-Chi. We're going to have all those newer characters, but we're also going to have legacy characters appear as new people because those timelines will be reset. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but the reset is so that way some characters can change and other characters can stay the same, so that way they're not rebooting the entire progress of the current MCU. If you read the 2015 Secret Wars run or look up a summary on YouTube, you'll understand what I'm trying to say right here. Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you think the MCU needed this reset? Do you think it should have just went on with the same actors for the next 10 years? Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. The article will also be linked down below so you can see it for yourself, and I will see you guys in the next video.